If you're just starting out playing Heroclix, then I definitely recommend getting this starter. And we're going to unbox it and see why right now. What's up guys, welcome back to your Heroclix headquarters. Like I just said, today we are here to unbox this beautiful Avengers vs. Masters of Evil Heroclix Battlegrounds starter set. Now, I've been very much looking forward to this because I do love Avengers, so I already know everything that's in it, but we're going to unbox it here right now for you guys. Now this is great if you are a new player starting the game. I highly recommend getting this particular starter set. The other ones are good, but the figures in them are much more advanced. These are the best place to start for a new player. So without any further ado, let's crack open this thing and see what's inside. Alright, so here we are with the box close up so you guys can see it with the window there. It sees all the Avengers. You can see Ultron down there in the bottom. The figures look pretty awesome. Side, you can see the Avengers. Other side, you got the Masters of Evil. Back, of course, shows everything that is in the box. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just slice this thing open and see what is inside. Alright, so as we can see here, we've got some bystander tokens. So all these bystander tokens are going to be used in the scenario campaign rules that come with this starter set. And of course we have all the cards here. And action tokens. It's cool that it gives us little punch out action tokens. We haven't seen that yet in any of these kinds of starter sets. I will say one thing. I think this starter set has the most value for just how many different things you get, because you get all these awesome bystander tokens. Of course, you get your terrain markers, and then actually giving us action tokens is really awesome. And 6 light objects. These are smaller tokens too. Normally they're like the size of a Heroclix base. These ones are a little bit smaller. And then on the reverse side, of course, it gives us some heavy objects to work with as well. So it's really nice. It gives us so many objects. It's like actually enough for 2 players to play this game, which is really cool. And then, yeah, we have some more. Looks like Ultron drone bystanders there on the back. Now, one thing I will point out right now is that these are all purple ring bystanders, so you can only use them in the scenario rules in this starter set. Sadly, you can't use these in any kind of a tournament setting. But nonetheless, it's really cool that they included them in here. So yeah, moving on here, we've got all the cards. We'll take a look at all those here in a second. You've got your standard PAC to have all of our powers and abilities in there that you can look up. This, of course, is something you need to have with you at all times, because even as an experienced player, I still take a look at this thing time and again in just about every game, once in a while, at least. And then, of course, here we have the rule book, the most important thing. If you want to learn how to play this game, you need to know the rules. So read it cover to cover. And let me know if you have any questions about it in the comments. But we have a couple of really awesome maps. So just taking a look at the first one here. So this map is actually called Iron Man's Workshop. So, you know, lots of little terminals there. You can kind of see some Iron Man suits. Really cool. There's actually the Hulkbuster in that corner, which is awesome. Just a bunch of blocking terrain. This is going to be a really fun map that I'm going to use all the time. And then, of course, on this other side here, we have the Castle Hideout outdoor. And so, if you guys don't know, this part here with the walls with the yellow lines, that actually indicates an indoor part of an outdoor map. So that's what the yellow lines are there for to let you know that this part is indoors. So like any kind of effect that looks for if a character is indoors or outdoors, that's basically what that's there for. But yeah, this looks like a really cool map here as well. You got like a moat around the castle and everything. Some elevated terrain to shoot from. Pretty cool map. And taking a look at this next one here, we have Ultron's face on a map, basically, which is pretty awesome. There's just wires and stuff everywhere, so it might be a little hard to look at, but there's basically a bunch of elevated terrain. It's really cool because, of course, elevated terrain is red, so they just kind of use it to like outline Ultron's face, essentially. A little hindering terrain up here. It's a really cool looking map. We've seen them do this before in Earth X with the Iron Man Stark Tower map. It just looked like Iron Man's face. So it's pretty cool that they're doing stuff like that again. And then, of course, on the reverse side, we have the helicarrier. So there's lots of Quinjets there for hindering terrain. Really cool looking map. You know, there's the sky there. Lots of cool stuff going on there. So yeah, two very awesome maps. 4 technically, two-sided ones. But then right here we are going to take a look at the figures, and they do look great. Now most of these are resculpts of other figures from other sets, which is something they tend to do a lot with starter sets and fast forces. But all of these do have different dials than the figures from those sets. So you can see here it also comes with a pair of black and red Avengers dice, and they look so cool. I'm going to use these dice all the time. I don't even care if they roll that bad. They just look too cool. I'm going to be using them in all my Avengers games, which means basically all of my games from here on out. Now you will notice that some of these fall off pretty easy. Don't worry about it. If this is your first time getting any characters that have the switch clicks bases, they are designed to pop off and pop back on. Now, I'm wondering why they did that for this set, because all the figures in this set have 2 separate dials, but they're on the same dial. They're just kind of separated by a couple KO clicks, and depending on how many points you play the figure at is whichever dial you're going to get to use, and they each have 2 separate cards for each of their dials. So I'm wondering if maybe they made them switch clicks bases so that in the future we'll get some unpainted versions of these characters that we can swap around. Otherwise, I would have thought that they were going to give us 2 entirely separate dials that you would just, pop the figure off of one and put it on the other one. But that's not what they did. Maybe that's what they were going to go for, and then they changed their minds. I don't know. But regardless, there we got Red Skull. Here we've got the Winter Soldier. We've got Captain Marvel. The really cool thing about this particular starter set is they didn't just use a bunch of common sculpts over again. This Captain Marvel was a super rare from Captain America and the Avengers, as was this Mach X. He was also a super rare from that set. So getting some like really cool super rare sculpts to reuse, I can't complain about that, honestly, especially this Ultron. If you guys want an Ultron, this is definitely the best place, because this sculpt of Ultron was from the Chase from Captain America and the Avengers. So to get him in a starter set is pretty crazy, because this sculpt is very nice looking, actually. But yeah, it's a really cool Ultron. And then, of course, we've got the Hulk. There we go. And we've got Baron Zemo over here. And Black Widow. And of course, you can't have the Avengers without Captain America and my boy Iron Man right here. Now this was from the Secret Wars Battle World, as was Cap. And these were from Black Panther and the Illuminati. The sculpts were anyway. So, I don't really mind the sculpt reuse when it's on good ones like these. But this is a pretty cool lineup we've got here of villains and heroes. And now we're going to open up these cards so we can take a look at what each of them does. So we've got all the different campaign rules, which we'll take a look at in a second. But we'll start out taking a look at all of these cards. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and start with the villains first. So starting off with Ultron there, he's got the Masters of Evil, Future, Robot, Ruler, and Scientist keywords. This is the very simple dial to learn how to play the game. 6 range, 10 movement with sidestep, 11 attack, 18 defense with invulnerability and indomitable, and a 3 damage. And then he gets some prob there on the back half for only 50 points. Honestly, not too bad. It's a good way to learn how to use sidestep and indomitable, and then of course prob there at the end. Pretty solid dial for 50 points. But then the upgraded version, once you've started to learn how to play the game a little bit, he's got a special on his movement where he can use phasing teleport and give him a free action. He can roll a d6 and use phase teleport at no cost, but only to move up to the result. So, you know, if you roll like a 6, you can move 6 squares as a free action with phase teleport, which is pretty awesome. And then he's got 11 attack, penetrating blast, 18 defense with impervious, and a 4 damage with prob control. So for 100 points, obviously a much, much more powerful version of Ultron, and definitely awesome. Ultron is, of course, one of the best Avengers villains, so really cool to get him in a starter set like this. Then we'll take a look at Baron Zemo. He's got the Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, Martial Artist, and Soldier keywords. This is his, of course, easier to understand dial. Basically just has toughness and leadership for 25 points, honestly. Leadership and indomitable, and those kinds of stats for 25 points, that's really solid. Just bringing him on the team for 25 points is definitely worth it. And then of course the more experienced version here has leadership and perplex as his special damage power. Taking a look at the dial there, some sidestep blades, exploit, pretty good stats and powers as well for 50 points. Not bad at all. Then of course our Mach X over here for the Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, Armor, and Scientist keywords. Not too bad either for 25 points. With flight, he can carry people around, energy shield deflection to keep him safe, and enhancement to help out your ranged attacker's damage. You can actually choose to push him onto running shot if you'd like. You don't have to ignore the pushing damage from willpower if you don't want to. But I mean, for 25 points, having flight, willpower, 6 range, and those kinds of stats and powers is really good, actually. Then, of course, taking a look at the experienced version here, we have a special on his damage that gives him enhancement and perplex, but only to target opposing characters. So that's pretty interesting. He starts off with that running shot, some energy explosion, and of course that enhancement and perplex combo. Again, not too bad for the stats and powers for 75 points. I mean, I'd probably prefer the super rare one over this one for 75. But I mean, you can't really beat the 25 point option just for some cheap enhancement and carry around. Plus, like I said, beautiful super rare sculpt on this guy. All right, next we'll take a quick look at the Winter Soldier. Again, the rookie version of him pretty much. He's got the just stealth and range combat expert with 7 range and willpower from the Indomitable. Really good combo for 50 points. Stealth and range combat expert's always nice, so not too bad of a dial for 50 points. More experienced version gives you plasticity, sidestep, and stealth on his special movement power, but he's mostly going to be again a sidestepping, stealthy range combat expert with some precision strike mixed in there as well. So again, not bad for 75 points. Actually, it's a pretty awesome Winter Soldier there. And he does, of course, have the Hydra, Masters of Evil, Assassin, Soldier, and Spy keywords, so a lot of good teams you can play him on there. And finishing off our villains, we have the Red Skull, who again has Hydra, Masters of Evil, and Soldier keywords. And of course the cheap version there, only 50 points, got a lot of poison and outwit, and looks like he was maybe supposed to have a team ability. I think that's just probably a little error in the card, a little misprint. But, you know, willpower to help him move up there, outwit their defense power, and poison them. You know, not too bad for 50 points, honestly. Got some perplex there as well. Then the more experienced version of him has a lot to offer us. Let's see, poison, but damage dealt is penetrating. That's really good. And then defense power gives him stop. But the first time each game he would be KO'd. Instead, roll a d6 and heal him equal to half the result protected pulse wave. That's pretty insane, actually. So taking a look at his dial there, you can see he starts with some sidestep and outwit, and again with that penetrating poison and that stop click that's actually going to heal him. So that's really good because you're going to hit that stop click. He would be KO'd. You heal him half the result of whatever your D6 roll is, and then they're going to have to hit him back onto the stop click and then hit him again to kill him. So you're going to have to hit this dude at least 3 times to kill him, which is actually really good for 75 points. Definitely one of the better Red Skulls in modern age, actually, I think. But moving on to the Avengers, let's see, Hulk here, of course, has the Avengers Brute and Monster keywords. Pretty basic there to start with for only 50 points. Just got some super strength, some invulnerability, willpower, at least helps you get into position. Some battle fury there at the end is pretty cool. Avengers team ability, not bad. Not bad, Hulk for 50 points. And taking a look at the more experienced version of Hulk here, he's got super strength, and if he makes a close object attack, modify damage by an additional +1, which is really cool. He can actually do potentially like 6 damage top dial there, which is quite a bit of damage, and then he gets some flurry and battle fury there at the end. For 75 points, he's not bad. You know, maybe there's better Hulks, but if you're just starting out, he's a good one to start with. And then moving on, next we'll take a look at Black Widow. I actually really like this Widow at either point value. So she starts with the Avengers, Martial Artist, Soldier, and Spy keywords. On her low point value for 25 points, she's going to have just basic 4-range double target, 11 attack, 3 damage, super senses and shape change, and indomitable. And Avengers team ability gives her +1 to movement to get around. So just really, for 25 points, she makes a good tie-up figure with the willpower and Avengers team ability to help get her into position. And then super senses and shape change just makes her really annoying as a tie-up character, because that's 2 potential rollouts for only 25 points. You know, pretty easy to throw on an Avengers team. I like that a lot. And then the more experienced version has a special that gives her sidestep and stealth on her movement, as well as close combat expert and shape change on her damage. So again, now for only 50 points, she's actually doing quite a bit for the team with sidestep and stealth, giving her a lot of ability to move around and be extra protected from range. A 4-range double target for her 11 attack incapacitate is great. Sidestep combos with the close combat expert. 11 attack, 3 damage anyway is good, and then being able to up that by +1 or +2 to those attack and damage values from the close combat expert means she can actually do quite a bit of damage. Indomitable, again, great. Super senses and shape change, again, giving her 2 rollouts. So really good for 50 points. This is actually one of my favorite Widows right now. Pretty awesome and definitely worth it. But moving on, I guess we'll take a look at Miss Marvel here next. Miss Marvel is actually one of my favorite characters in the starter set as well. She's got the Avengers, Kree, and Cosmic keywords. So the basic version of her, you know, nothing too fancy. 12 movement with charge, flight, indomitable, 3 damage with that empower. Pretty good, you know, 6 range too. So when she gets hit onto the last half there, she gets some running shot and some toughness. Avengers team ability as well. Honestly, not bad for 50 points. I do wish she had like an opening toughness, maybe would be nice, but really not bad for 50 points still. And then taking a look at the more experienced version, this one's actually really good in my opinion. Hypersonic speed, when Captain Marvel uses it and hits after resolutions, she may use charge at no cost. So that's insanely good actually. I kind of wish she started with that 11 attack to make better use of it, but 12 movement hypersonic with 6 range. Flight and indomitable is great. 18 invulnerable, 3 damage with empower still. Again, Avengers team ability. And then mid-dial there, she goes to running shot pulse wave, which can really change the game in the middle of the fight. Really solid figure for 75 points. Definitely a good one. Next one we'll take a look at here is Captain America, the first Avenger. This guy is really great. Avengers, Shield, Martial Artist, Pass, and Soldier keywords. The more basic version there for only 25 points gets you 5 range, 8 movement, 11 attack, 18 defense with Indomitable and energy shield deflection. Actually keeps him pretty well defended. And a 3 damage with leadership. So he can actually be a pretty decent attacker, but only 25 points for those kinds of stats. 5 clicks of health. And actually being able to use that leadership as well for 25 points is amazing. Definitely worth throwing on any Avengers team just for how low points and everything he brings. And then on the more experienced side, we have a special defense power that gives energy shield deflection and toughness, and as a unique modifier, adjacent friendly characters modify defense +1. So this one's bringing a lot more to the team for that extra 25 points there, making him 50 points. Still starts out with 8 movement with running shot, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 with that special defense power that gives him energy shield and toughness, as well as modifying adjacent friendlies defense by +1 and giving leadership as well. Again, another great version of Captain America. Only 50 points for everything he can do for your team is pretty insane. So he's a really good one. And saving the best for last, obviously, here we've got Iron Man. So he's got the Avengers Stark Industries armor and scientist keywords. He's got some sidestep and range combat expert there, flight, 6 range, indomitable. Pretty good stats for only 50 points, not too bad. And then taking a look at his more experienced version, you got Force Blast and Running Shot on his movement. And now, this is actually really sad. This Stop Toughness click, this doesn't exist. Because they didn't put it on his card, they didn't put it on his dial. They errated it out of existence. So if you guys are picking up this starter, just pretend that that special on his defense does not exist. But still Running Shot, Force Blast, 11 attack penetrating blast for 3 damage with prob control, and that 18 defense with energy shield is still pretty good. 6 range, indomitable, flight, Avengers team ability, lots of good stuff still. The stop click would have been really nice though. But sidestep and range combat expert there on the back half means he's pretty deadly the whole way through. So not a bad 75 points either. So that's what all the figures can do. And now we have all of these awesome scenario campaign rules. I'll just kind of quickly throw them up here for you guys to pause and read it out because we don't want this to be like an hour-long video just for looking at all of the cool scenario rules. So let me know in the comments, you guys, if you'd like to see me play out this scenario campaign. I did already play out the Fantastic Four one, and some people said they'd like to see the Justice League campaign as well, and I did promise I'd play that, so as soon as I can get around to doing that one, I'll probably do this one shortly thereafter, because of course, I mean, I'm probably going to do it anyway. Avengers and Masters of Evil, you know, 2 really awesome teams. And this looks like such a fun starter set. I mean, most starter sets, for one thing, are only like 6 figures. So the fact that they give you 10 in this one is insane. 10 figures, and it's really almost more like 20 when you consider the fact that they all have 2 entirely separate dials and point values. With different, you know, skill levels there of each of them. So, I mean, we're basically talking about 20 characters, plus the, you know, the bystander tokens, the scenario rules, all the objects and the little action tokens, and these freaking awesome red and black Avengers dice. You know, you got the two-sided maps, so 4 maps total. You've got of course, the rule book and the pack and everything else. Definitely the best place to start playing Heroclix for all of you new players out there. Definitely worth the investment to get going. And I'm also going to be doing a lot of how-to videos using these characters because they are so basic and simple. It'll make it a lot easier, I think, to understand for, you know, newer players for how-to videos. So if you want to follow along even better with those, I would suggest picking this up as well for once I get around to doing some more how-to videos. But yeah, man, this set is freaking awesome. Even the basic versions of some of these characters are really cool, like the Captain America and the Black Widow for only like 25 points can do actually a lot for your team. And then, you know, like Captain Marvel at 75 points is insane. The Ultron at 100 points is really freaking good too. So again, I do highly recommend getting this starter set for new players. But that about does it for this unboxing. Alright you guys, so that about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. I hope you learned a thing or two about this set. Again, I highly recommend this for a player just starting out. If you're thinking like, should I get a brick of the new set? Should I get like this starter or that starter? Definitely get this Avengers versus Masters of Evil Heroclix Battlegrounds starter set. It's really good for the beginning players to start with. So if you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like for me. I'd appreciate it. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this whole set. I'll be happy to answer them for you guys. And if you guys would like to support the channel even further and see your name here in the credits, as well as many other awesome things, then check out the link to the Patreon below. So a huge thank you to all of our Patreon patrons for this month. And if you guys want to, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.